Have you guys heard about the 4 states that are reopening businesses over the next 2 weeks?
What?
Florida?
Georgia?
Is it us?
Is it Missouri?
Or no?
It's probably the South.
Yeah, it's the
Listen,
South.
they want to be free. Stop taking their freedoms. All right?
Steve got to represent his people.
It's not a matter of freedom, Steve. It's life and death.
Oh yeah, life for who? What kind of life is? What kind of living is this?
I thought you're from San Diego.
Yeah.
The next 80 years.
Or Virginia, is that?
I've been all over.
Okay.
I feel
All
like,
over this land.
I feel like though the media's kind of spinning it on these people, like getting the craziest fuckers, because some of them do have a legit like argument about going back to work or whatever, but then they always highlight the craziest
They
motherfucker.
always get the South will rise again guy.
Yeah, with the
He's
big
like,
fucking rebel
Oh
flag.
yeah, we're coming. We are coming. It's like you guys been saying this shit for 150 years, man.
Damn.
And then all the other protesters were like, "Who the fuck invited Bob, man?" And then the news goes up and fucking interviews him instead.
What's going on? He's like, oh yeah, we're coming back. You'll see.
Yeah, there's the people that are like, I'm tired of this shit. You can't take my freedom, and they're showing up with guns too. So now they're tying in like the community that I like, right? But then now you're giving that community another bad name because now they're tying 2 different communities together. I'm like, fuck.
Because they invited Bob.
Yeah.
Damn, Bob.
Wow. But yeah, so it's Georgia, South Carolina, Texas, and Tennessee. They have announced plans to allow some businesses to open their doors within the next couple weeks. And then recently with Trump's guidelines for opening up America again, there were some bolded names in that list, and it included restaurants, movie theaters, places of worship, and gyms. So,
Even though it's not California.
well,
It's a win for you.
Those are all the areas that can get infected the
Gyms,
most.
people are breathing super hard.
yeah,
Gyms, yeah, pass a lot of disease.
exactly. So a lot of people are really concerned with all this like hope that the country will reopen again, because then it's leading to a lot of people believing that there will be a second wind of things. Like there's just gonna be a whole lot more deaths
Who
happening.
wrote this plan where they chose like the most populated places to be phase 1?
I think the states are choosing it.
Yes, the states are choosing.
I know, because they should have done like
governors.
South Dakota and Wyoming.
Yeah, there's a reason why.
Or like areas that have less people.
Like, we're gonna open up the orgy centers first. And
Well, because like
for people
the
to make
idea
out.
behind this quarantine somehow turned into like a partisan thing.
That's what's a joke.
The most conservative states are opening up first because they're like, yeah, this is not a big deal. You guys are just pretending it is.
Right.
Because somehow this has turned into a party.
Oh.
That's why like even the protests are like people are saying when you come to these protests that are protesting the lockdown, it feels more like a Trump rally than anything else.
Yeah, it's all political now.
Yeah.
It's political on both sides too, man. Because you got people on the left who are saying, "Let's just stay home forever," and it's like
Let's just stay home forever and get the $2,000
I've
a
seen it on
month.
Twitter. So it's like, and what I feel worst about is that we all got tricked into thinking that there was some kind of help that happened. Like there's no
Yeah.
help from our government. Like they gave everyone $1,200 and they said, "Hey, we might reopen in 6 months or 5 months." So a lot of people are fucked and they can't wait for maybe we'll do another stimulus or something. Like so they're like, I have to work, I have to do something. So these people were forced on the streets with desperation.
Yeah.
Like the idea that we can all just fuck these fucking meth heads and shit is it's fucking mean, frankly, because we're not factoring in what they're going through, probably financially, probably fear-wise.
Yeah.
Like so I don't have a problem with hope. I have a problem with people who are like, hey, fuck these people and all this shit, and not thinking about what they're going through. Like,
I wonder what the whole reason for the armed resistance was, because
It's not a reason to wear guns in public, I feel like.
because it was like I don't know if it was
in
Kansas.
Texas.
Was it Texas?
Yeah, the guy-
they all stormed like City Hall, and it's fucking
It
nuts.
was a big like gun rally / quarantine protest in
They were
Texas.
inside of like a government building, just fucking armed to the teeth, and I was just like, how the
like
fuck can they
don't
do
turn this into Waco.
Oh shit.
Oh, man.
Oh shit.
I'm like, how the fuck? Okay, I just didn't see the connection between that and the whole.
Maybe they're just conflating every like stress that they're feeling at the moment, you know, from politics to quarantine to their individual desires of owning guns and whatnot, you know, and they're just like, I'm just gonna vet right now everything. I'm gonna give you everything I've got right now.
Well, when you turn on the TV and people who make $30,000 a week being anchors and shit are telling you that you're a fucking idiot and should stay home, and you're like, I don't have any money.
I think the problem is that there isn't an easy answer no matter what.
Absolutely.
You decide, right? There's no good answer of when you're supposed to come back and when how long we should hold this out for, because there's some things that the experts say, which is like, okay, we need to wait like a certain amount of days, but when that will happen, we don't know. And when that does happen, how do we ease back into normal society, right?
But are the experts American? Because it's black and white to me.
Some of them are.
I want to be outside.
There was an interview with Andrew Cuomo, and then they asked him like, what are you gonna do after this? Because like with the mortgage payments and people who need to pay rent, are they just gonna have to pay everything back later? And I think at least for that interview he answered it well, in which he said he doesn't know, because it's the
That's
worst
what
when people
everyone should just
it's
say.
the worst when people
I
are
don't know.
like, oh yeah, I have the answer. But when you don't have the answer, because no one knows, everyone's trying to figure it out.
Exactly.
Talk to the experts, talk to the economists. They're trying to see what kind of bills they can pass to make it like not life destructive after we survive this thing.
And the experts are in the dark too, right?
Yeah.
Like as information slowly was filtering out, they're trying to create like a tapestry for what we're gonna do, because all the information kept changing because China was being very secretive about all the outbreak stuff. So there's so much things happening in real time, and everyone's just trying to play catch up. And then also at the same time, we did this huge fucking stimulus package. If you were to take all that money and just give it to the people who are fucked right now, everyone would have got like 20 grand. And the idea
That's a huge safety net.
Yeah, the idea that we just took care of everybody because we gave them $1,200 and said good luck is fucked up and nuts.
Well, more than half went to the financial sector.
Exactly.
That's
They
why.
went to the top 1,000
Yeah.
fucking companies and top 1,000 richest people in America. So people can fucking blow me about how, oh, look at all these fucking simpletons on TV. Like,
Well, it's just another way of divide and conquer, right? Because it's like, hey, look at these idiots. I mean, it's funny to watch them.
Of course.
But
It's so funny.
I do know where that kind of thinking stems from, though. Like people that are thinking that it's fake, or people that are thinking that, it's way blown out of proportion, you won't really get sick and all that stuff. Because there are actual doctors and people that are coming out saying like, hey, this is manufactured. Like this.
Yeah, it's all conspiracies.
Yeah, but there's one guy that's
well, it was
he's the-
literally manufactured, is what you're talking about, right? In Wuhan.
Right. Well, it's not a conspiracy. Well, they don't know where it's manufactured from, but there are scientists that are researching it and saying that this is a man-made bioweapon, and it's from legitimate scientists. One was the guy who he didn't invent AIDS, but he discovered AIDS with the team, and he was saying that this virus is basically man-made.
Well, it's not man-made. It's altered. And I saw
yeah,
this.
yeah.
I saw this on CNN. It was a. So we talked about this 2 months ago on JustKiddingNews about how there's this conspiracy theory about how the virus originated in this lab in Wuhan and it was spread to the population.
I thought it came from yummy bats.
You're right.
Yummy bats.
No, so apparently there was an intern who contracted coronavirus, and they were like patient zero, and they spread it somehow in that area 2 miles away from that lab, and that's where it came from. And this, I just saw it on a bunch of.
Does it have anything to do with bats?
I have no
Isn't
idea.
like there's the wet market bat conspiracy, and there's like the conspiracy of it like they're working on bats in a lab.
I've
Or
heard-
it's
I read
just-
that one too.
No bats involved, and it's
Yeah.
just they're working on a virus.
It's just all over the place.
I think the hard thing is trying to figure out something that has already happened, right? It's like anytime you study like ancient history, right? It's like you look at all these little points of evidence, you're like, I think this connects this way, but can anyone ever really know? Like they can get 90% of the way there and hope that they're right.
Yeah, it's just correlation. They can't prove causation.
And even a year from now, we'll know way more.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, every day we're learning a little bit more.
Right.
It's crazy.
But the government's definitely, well, not just the government, but the people with mad power, they're using this as a really big advantage on their play. Because the way that the money works is they can print out the money and then get first dibs on grabbing that.
it's the same thing when they passed the Patriot Act, right? if you came out against the Patriot Act, you're against America and you're for the terrorists. If you remember, if you can think back that far, that's exactly what they did in the media. Like,
what was it though? Like what was
the Patriot Act?
I don't remember.
It's like a massive surveillance
They
operation.
can tap all phones.
Right, they can tap all phones. They can fucking spy on you. They can get a bench warrant, and they can spy on you really easily and openly.
You know how Snowden came out and
It was against the Patriot Act.
the Patriot Act is the reason why NSA was okay. They're allowed to spy on us.
Yeah, it was the green light. And then, but then back then there was congressmen. There was one, Dennis Kucinich, who came out and he said, "I'm not voting for this," and they all shit all over his head.
You're too good at remembering people's names.
I know. I'm like, it's
Dennis
scary.
Kucinich?
Dennis Kucinich.
How do you remember a name like
He's
that?
a really known politician, though.
You know what's the worst is that you're immediately more credible because you know a name.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Like you could be saying something completely wrong, but you got the name right or the year right.
Blazer on.
Bob Newhart voted for it. Bob Newhart.
Oh, now you're just making up names.
What did Peter Dinklage say?
Peter
He
Dinklage.
was against. He was against.
I know names too. Don't fuck with me.
Wait, where's Peter Dinklage from?
Game of Thrones.
Oh, right. I was like, what the fuck? Yeah.
He's pretty credible. I trust Tyrion.
That's
Always.
his real name, right?